Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, July 14th, 2025. My name is Sam Shalhoub, and it's time for your daily dispatch. Over the weekend, President Trump put out a truth about Pete Hegseth. Now, we know that Trump has called himself a wartime president. We know that Speaker Johnson has called himself a wartime speaker. So isn't it interesting that in that truth President Trump put out this weekend, he referred to Pete Hegseth as the Secretary of War instead of the Secretary of Defense. According to Zero Hedge, California could lose 17% of its oil refinery capacity over the next 12 months due to two scheduled refinery closures. This is according to the EIA. 17%? Interesting number. So we have had a lot of discussions about tariffs and, the left and some of the right talking about the catastrophe that the tariffs could cause. Well, in June of 2020, the federal deficit was $864 billion. Fast forward to June of this year, there's a $26 billion surplus. Interesting numbers. President Trump is going to impose 30% tariffs on Mexico and the European Union. Now we have as President Trump likes to call them, the panicans, saying, doom and gloom. Well, it sure looks to me like the tariffs have worked out pretty darn well so far. This next story is interesting. CNBC back in April said that tariffs will likely raise much less money than the White House projects, according to economists. And then fast forward a couple of months, their next headline, Treasury posts unexpected surplus in June as tariff receipts surge. Boy, it's no wonder that President Trump calls them the fake news. Pam Bondi ordered charges to be dropped against Dr. Kirk Moore. He was accused of destroying the jab vaccines, issuing fake jab passports, and injecting saline into children instead of the jab. In my opinion, that man is a hero. I did a video on autonomous taxis here in the Los Angeles area. Well, that company, Waymo, is in multiple cities now and expanding very quickly. And I thought it was interesting that in August of 2023, they had over 12,000 monthly paid Waymo trips. Fast forward to March of this year, they had over 700,000 paid Waymo trips. Sure looks like we're moving into the Jetsons future awfully quick, and I, for one, am glad to see it. According to Watcher Guru, White House economic advisor Hassett said President Trump has the power to fire Fed Chair Jerome Powell if there is reason. Now, what if, and I believe this to be true, the Federal Reserve was rolled into the Department of Treasury back in 2018? Wouldn't the Department of Treasury fall under the executive branch? Who is the executive branch already? Exactly. Overnight, Bitcoin topped over $121,000 per coin. Now, if you'd like to learn how to buy or hold Bitcoin, go to samshalhoub.com. You can book an appointment directly with me, and I'll walk you through the process. And then lastly today, that other board that we like to follow, yes, the Q board. There are multiple deltas for today, but the one that I found interesting simply says a week to remember. And that's a 6-year delta. Let's see what happens. So that's all we have for today. Please remember that we have a 9 a.m. Pacific time live broadcast today on all platforms: Rumble, X, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, TikTok. Hopefully you can join us. And in the meantime, I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk again soon.